The thunder rumbled ominously overhead as Emily raced through the thick forest, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Behind her, she could hear the sound of heavy footsteps crashing through the underbrush, getting closer with each passing moment. Her breath came in ragged gasps, her lungs burning with the exertion as she pushed herself to run faster to escape the relentless pursuit of the unknown creature that haunted her. She glanced over her shoulder, her eyes wide with terror as she caught sight of the figure pursuing her. It was a grotesque creature, its twisted form barely visible in the darkness, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. Its growls echoed through the night, sending shivers down Emily's spine as she pushed herself onward, her feet pounding against the forest floor. As she burst into a small clearing, Emily's heart sank as she realized there was nowhere left to run. The only shelter in sight was an old decrepit mansion looming ominously in the moonlight. Its windows were dark, its walls covered in ivy that seemed to writhe and twist in the faint breeze. With no other options left, Emily dashed towards the mansion, her footsteps echoing loudly on the cobblestone path. She reached the front door and threw it open, stumbling inside just as the creature lunged forward, its claws narrowly missing her. Inside the mansion, Emily found herself in a dimly lit foyer, the air heavy with dust and decay. The sound of the creature's snarls echoed through the empty halls, sending chills down Emily's spine as she pressed herself against the door, trying to catch her breath. Desperation gripped Emily as she frantically searched for a way to escape, but as she turned to flee deeper into the mansion, a voice echoed through the darkness, freezing her in place. "Welcome to the Blackwood Manor," the voice whispered, sending shivers down Emily's spine. "You'll never leave." Emily's blood ran cold as she realized she was not alone in the mansion. Something sinister lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim her soul for eternity. She tried to steel herself against the fear that threatened to consume her, but she knew deep down that there was no escaping the horrors that awaited her in the depths of Blackwood Manor. With a sinking feeling of dread, Emily pressed forward into the darkness, her footsteps echoing loudly on the crackling floorboards. The mansion seemed to pulsate with a malevolent energy, its walls closing in on her each passing moment. She could feel eyes watching her from the shadows, their gaze cold and unrelenting as she stumbled through the endless corridors. Suddenly, Emily heard a soft whispering sound, the rustle of leaves on a windy night. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest as she strained to listen for any sign of movement. But all she could hear was the oppressive silence of the mansion, broken only by the faint sound of her breathing. "Who's there?" Emily called out, her voice trembling with fear. There was no response, only the echo of her own words fading into the darkness. Emily's hands shook as she pressed on, her every instinct screaming at her to turn back and flee from this place of nightmares. But as she rounded a corner, Emily stumbled upon a sight that froze her blood in her veins. Standing in before her was a figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes gleaming with malevolent light. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she realized the true horror of what lay before her. It was not a creature of flesh and blood, but something far more sinister. An entity born of darkness and despair. "Who are you?" Emily demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure stepped forward from its shifting and twisting like a smoke in the wind. "I am the darkness that dwells within these walls," it whispered, its voice sending shivers down Emily's spine. "And you, dear Emily, are my latest victim." With a surge of terror, Emily turned to flee, but it was too late. The darkness enveloped her, swallowing her whole as she screamed into the void. And as the echoes of her screams faded into the night, Blackwood Manor claimed another soul, its dark secrets hidden away from eternity. That was, that was The Haunting of Grayson Manor. Now, what are my thoughts? Honestly, it was pretty good. Now, there is a heavy use of the word malevolent, but I would think that there are better synonyms for that. This is just my take, of course, but I want to know what you think. This was, like I said, The Haunting of Grayson Manor. I'll leave the link in the description of the writer as of where you can find the story. Tell them the Iron Legion sent you. But that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.